Hello viewers, we have with us very special, very kind, very affectionate, very educated, very kind, very affectionate lady, Basundhara Chattopadhyay. I usually call her Jhumri ji. And I think it is good for me to call because I'm more comfortable with Jhumri ji.
Yeah.
Well, how are you, Jhumri ji?
Pretty good, yes.
You have been here in Lahore for the last few days.
Yes.
And you have been to everywhere, like Jahangir's tomb and
Correct.
and all the wall city and everywhere. First
Yes.
of all, I still can't pronounce your name.
Okay, so let me help you with that, right? So my first name is Basundhara Chattopadhyay. So I'm a Bengali, like by birth, but so I grew up in the city of Kolkata and left for United States when I think I was like 24 or 25 years old. So for the past 40 some years, I'm in the US. Okay, but I do visit India every year for the past 10 years, and this particular year, and I know you know my husband very well.
Yeah,
So you,
Professor Satyaji. Yeah.
Professor Satya Chattopadhyay, you met him during his second Pakistan trip, which was this year during the month of March, right? And when he came to Lahore, and from there he went to Balochistan, and then after he went back home, and I've been pestering him, it's about time for me to come to Pakistan. Okay, so but I need to tie that with my trip in India. So the way I did it, and Maqbul Bhai, who helped him travel around Pakistan the last time, he suggested, so you come to the Wagah border. So I flew from Kolkata to Amritsar and then stayed there for three days, I think. And then I came here on the 28th.
Usually people are frightened to come here.
Usually people are, but for me, I would say I always try to keep an open mind, okay? And like for me, exploration, learning new places, new culture is always exciting.
But Vasudhara Chattopadhyay.
Yeah, that's fine. You can call me Jhumri. Actually, you can call me Jhumri because that's
Jhumri.
that's like I usually go by Jhumri, right?
Okay.
That's my
And
pet name.
I'm
You
more
can call me
comfortable
Jhumri.
with Jhumri.
Perfectly fine, yeah.
What was the perception about Lahore before you came?
Okay, perception of Lahore. So this I think goes back to the time that during the partition of India, right? We all know, like from history lessons, I guess, in the high school, that like the two states that were affected were Punjab and Bengal,
Bengal,
right?
yeah.
The rest of India really didn't have to go through the emotional turmoil, the setback, and everything that was associated with the partition. So I would say culturally, socially, and historically, there are a lot of similarities between the two places. And being a Bengali, and then on the other side from Punjabi from your perspective, I think both the cultures have made significant contribution, right, to the field of art, music, poetry, drama,
Exactly.
like any form of genre, you name it. Yeah. So, and I've never been to Punjab, like the Indian Punjab side. So I thought this is a great opportunity for me to come, fly into Amritsar, see the Punjab side of India, then get into Pakistan and see the Punjab side of Pakistan. So,
Well, did you find any difference between Indian Punjab and Pakistani Punjab?
well, in such short period of time, I would say like it's difficult for me to pinpoint any significant changes if I might have noticed. But as just driving down, it's the same soil, it's the same land, the same people. So I think in terms of how they act, how they talk, how they eat, there shouldn't be a whole lot of difference. Like I think religion is the most important thing that sort of is in everybody's mind. And coming back to your first question, that everybody will always say, "Oh, why Pakistan?" But why not Pakistan?
Why not
That's my
Pakistan?
question. Why not Pakistan? And so many of my friends, even from India, they're like, "Oh my goodness, you're going there all by yourself?" So I said, "Why not?" Because my interest goes back to archaeology, architecture. So I studied architecture for about 5.5 years in my previous life, I would say, but I never practiced as an architect. But the passion is always there with me, and that drags me to this like exotic places, to this out of ordinary places where people might be a little bit hesitant to go. And
But there are many similarities. I think you have found many similarities between Kolkata and Lahore when it comes to architecture. Is it so?
architecturally, I don't think so as much, because I think, and this is my perception once again, Kolkata being the former capital of British India, so it's a lot of influence with the colonial architecture, right?
And
Which Punjab has a good mix of like the Islamic architecture and the Sikhism, right? Because so architecturally, I don't think there's too many similarities in that sense, but I think culturally,
Okay.
yeah. So both Lahoris and people from Kolkata, they're very welcoming. They would like to embrace new people, new culture, share new ideas. They're very fun-loving people, and food lovers as well. Okay, and I said they would like to enjoy life, and I think.
Do you think Lahore is an imperial city as well? Because when it comes to cultural heritage, Lahore is an imperial city. So this is a striking difference with Bengal. That Bengal has never been an imperial city. Kolkata has never been an imperial city in the strict sense of the word.
In the strict sense, so you are trying to say that when you're saying like imperial city, say like New Delhi, that is an imperial city,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. But like if you think it that way, that given the fact that it used to be the former capital of British India, so there were those traces of imperialism that kind of stayed back, and that also kind of reflected in the everyday life of Bengalis. So it's very difficult for them to, like, they used to think themselves as more Britisher in that sense, but I think in the due course of time, like we have been independent for the past 75 years or so, like things are changing, and now people are kind of going back to the roots to see where Bengal actually came from, instead of having a lot more influence from the British Raj or like British India. Yeah.
Do you safely say that Lahore is a very curious mix of Kolkata's culture and Delhi's imperialism?
Like in the past 3 days, like some of the people that I came across, and even when I was like driving down through the city, and even like the vibe of the city, the ambience of the city, I felt like the ambience of the city is very much like Calcutta, but the urban landscape is very much like New Delhi. So I think in that sense, if you ask me, I would say both Lahore and Kolkata are like the cultural capitals of Pakistan and India. Like,
And another thing is,
that's like in my humble opinion, because I'm not an expert in history or sociology. Yeah.
An opinion of a very true Bengali who has been to Kolkata and Lahore.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Yeah.
Yes. And I never knew that until I watched your show, where you explored like the house where he stayed. And tell me something about the show. Like, I really don't know
Rabindranath Tagore
what you covered exactly.
Rabindranath Tagore ji came Lahore to collect some subscriptions for Shadi Niketan.
Okay.
And there was a person named Dhaniram. His name, there is a road named after Dhaniram. Dhaniram was a very big merchant, merchant of shoes, you can say.
Bhalla shoes, right?
Bhalla shoes, yes.
Bhalla shoes, yes.
Dhaniram
because we had Bhalla shoe stores in Calcutta when I was growing up.
Exactly.
In 60s and 70s.
His full name was Dhaniram Bhalla.
Okay.
So there is an area in Lahore which is called Bhalla Chowk.
Okay.
Bhalla Thoroughfare, you can say. And I just got news when I was Tagore ji came here, and he lived at Bhalla Chowk. I was amazed. What is the Bhalla Chowk? Where Bhalla Chowk he could have lived? Then I made a very extensive research and found that the Dhaniram Bhalla's very spacious, very luxurious home was there in Bhalla Chowk. Namakot is the name of the area is now Namakot.
Okay.
Then I went to the place
Correct.
and I requested the guards, because It is owned by some Zia Chishti who is in America.
Okay.
And the guard didn't let me go in, but I would try again.
Okay.
So it was very.
So you're like persistent. I have to go inside, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I have to go inside. Just want to see where Rabindranath Tagore ji stayed.
Resided, yeah.
Yeah. And Dhaniram Bhalla gave Tagore ji
Okay.
10,000 rupees those days.
That's a lot of money back then.
It was a lot of money,
Yeah.
but there was a condition
Okay.
that Rabindranath Tagore would live in his home.
Okay.
So that was a story, and I was really impressed because
Okay.
I am a great lover of
Tagore,
Rabindranath Tagore. That-
And so, like, I think we are leading in that direction based upon what we just talked just now. That
Thank you.
Tagore was, like in my time, like a household name for all of us. Growing up in Kolkata, no one can even imagine that you are either not singing a Rabindra Sangeet, which is a song, or reciting a Tagore's poem, or reading his short stories, novels, and just you name it. So we kind of grew up with Tagore. In school, at home, in festivals, in carnivals, everywhere. Okay. But at that time, we never realized, growing as a child, the depth of his writing, the value, like the intrinsic value, and not value really, I would say his contribution to the whole world. So he's regarded as a global poet. So he belongs to the world, just not to India, just not to Pakistan, just not to Bangladesh, but to the rest of the world.
His appeal is universal.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, well, we have like Faiz Faiz. Like Pablo Neruda, the people, the poets who are connected with their soil, with their roots, with their culture, and they aggrandize it. That they universalize the pangs, the grief, the power of
The
their
emotions,
message,
the feelings,
emotions, yes.
like everything. And they just, like, I think that is what makes them so special, and they're at that genius or beyond genius level that they can like reach anybody. And the beauty of Tagore, the magic of Tagore is such that, especially with the songs, I mean, I used to sing a lot when growing up, not anymore. So every time you go through the songs as you are aging, each and every time it gives you a different interpretations. And you are learning, oh my God, this. And he has categorized song into different categories. One is called puja, so you know the meaning of puja. One is called prakriti, which is the seasons, basically. One is called prem, which is love. But the songs in the category of puja as such, so you really don't know whom you are, like to whom the songs are devoted to.
Because
So it can be a higher power, it can be a human being, or it can be a supernatural someone, or it can be a lover, like at the same time too.
That's why these songs are universal, because they're multi-layered,
Yeah,
and it's a universal appeal to everyone in the world.
correct.
Right.
And
Please
like
narrate some poem.
narrate some poem. Well, I was doing something that day, just a few lines maybe. I mean, I don't recall anything right now.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
But so I will do that again. Just a few lines, just some bits and pieces from that poem that we are talking about the other day. I would say the few lines that come to my mind right now. শিখর হইতে শিখরে ছুটিব, ভূধর হইতে ভূধরে লুটিব, হেসে খলখল গে কলকল, তালে তালে দিব তালি। এত কথা আছে, এত গান আছে, এত প্রাণ আছে মোর, এত সুখ আছে, এত স্বাদ আছে, প্রাণ হয়ে আছে ভোর। So like,
Nice.
you know what, like when I say that, like I'm out, like I'm living outside of India for like the past 40 years of my life. I have raised my family in the US. I have 2 daughters and everything, but they also, I mean, they're born there and they are like American in many ways, Indian in some other ways. They would also say, oh, you guys cannot survive without Tagore.
Uh-huh.
So it's like always, it like everything kind of boils down to Tagore, and that's why there's a say in Bengali, if I say that Ami, that means me, Mone Prane Bangali. That means in my heart and soul, I'm Bengali.
Bengali.
Like,
Okay.
I'm a Bengali.
They say one who is born in Bengal is half a musician.
Kind of, maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah,
And
maybe.
we have grown up with R.D. Burman,
Yes,
which is Celine Chaudhary, S.D. Burman, Hemanda.
Ekdam.
So, what do you think?
Very talented group of people, okay. Bengalis are big time into singing. So it not necessarily has to be Rabindra Sangeet, it can be any modern songs, like as we call in Bengali, Adhunik Gan, which is less contemporary songs, for which all the names that you mentioned, they are just stalwarts for those type of songs. And people just love music, people just love entertainment as such. But I think now the shift is more towards, I would rather say Bollywood
yeah.
music. Yeah. It's not bad, but
even
it's
R.D.'s music, Pancham's music was Bollywood music.
Bollywood music.
He sought a lot of inspiration from Bengali songs.
Yes. He was a genius because he could mix and match so many different tunes and give it a shape, which is just like phenomenal. Like people like R.D. Burman, S.D. Burman, and even Salil Chaudhary. Like I'm a big fan of Salil Chaudhary, and I have a friend who actually played guitar in his ensemble, and we hear sometimes interesting stories about Salil Chaudhary and his level of geniusness as such.
Have you ever got a chance to listen to Punjabi music?
Not that much. I'll be very honest about that. Not that much. Daler Mehendi, I have heard a few songs.
Mehdi.
Yeah.
But Punjabi music is loud.
Okay.
They flagrantly express themselves. And if they have to even say something to their beloved in song, they say outrageously.
Okay.
If not, I'm very sorry.
As if they're shouting, but that is not okay. Yes. So that's like the gesture. That's the way they talk. Yeah. Bengalis are like that too. Like people sometimes might think, oh my God, you're screaming loud, but it is just, and that also brings to the next thing. Just like we are sitting and talking with each other, Bengalis love to do that, and we call it adda.
Adda, okay.
Adda, okay. ADDA, adda. So we all sit together, just throw in a topic, random topic. It can start with football, get into cricket, get into politics, get into something else, but eventually it comes back to music. Sometimes it might come back to Rabindranath, because that's how it is. I mean,
every discussion culminates in either on Rabindranath Tagore or music.
Yeah, because like Bengalis, we all love music. So even at this age, I can say a few, like during COVID, right? So everybody was kind of getting bored, and I'm there sitting in the UNS. A lot of my school friends from my age group, they just created a group online, okay, and they named the group, and we were actually virtually meeting each other and having like those adda sessions over Zoom. So we named the group Zoom Barabar Zoom. One of our friends, like from Zoom Barabar Zoom, they named the group Zoom Barabar Zoom. And it is just a casual meeting, and we used to like meet like almost every Saturday or Sunday, and we used to sing songs, and then eventually we ended up making a few productions also, okay? And then things kind of stopped, everybody got busy with something else. But music is something I think that connects a lot of Bengalis together. It's a very common link for like anybody who, especially growing up in Bengal, it's a very common thing. Because when I was young, by the time you are like 5 or 6 years old, there will be a singing teacher coming. There'll be harmonium at home. They'll start planning Sare Gama Pada Nisa, and then all kind on any kind of songs like classical songs or Rabindra Sangeet, or even have you heard the name of Kavi Nazrul Islam?
Yeah, yes. From Bangladesh.
Used to be Bangladesh, but back then, pre-independence, it was all the same thing. So his songs were also very popular. But unfortunately, these days, not many people are familiar with his songs, but his songs were also very, very good.
What about dance? Aren't Bengalis very keen for dancing?
They are keen for dancing, but it's not like Punjabi dancing. Okay, it's
Okay.
a very low key, a softer version of, like, honestly, how we have the Indian classical dances, say like Bharatnatyam from the south, Odissi from Orissa, Manipuri from Manipur, Kuchipudi, then Kathakali. There's no as such, like, I would say, which we can say like authentic Bengali rooted dance, but
But not unlike Punjabis who are very loud
very loud.
and
Yeah,
they express themselves flagrantly.
that's perfectly fine.
Well, Jumiti, coming to Lahore, you have visited Jahangir's tomb. How have you found it, the tomb?
Beautiful architecture.
Okay.
And yeah, beautiful architecture. And as I was telling a friend earlier, that now my quota of the Mughal emperor's tomb is almost complete,
Yeah,
because with the exception of Babur, and his tomb is in Kabul, and I don't think so it's a near possibility for me to visit Afghanistan. But Jahangir's tomb today, when I saw it, reminded me partially of Akbar's tomb in Sikandra and partially of Humayun's tomb in New Delhi.
Okay.
The beautiful, intricate design of, what is it, red sandstone, marble, and pieces of black sandstone is gorgeous.
These
And the
stones,
symmetry in Islamic architecture.
Yeah.
That's
and you know, these stones were brought from Rajasthan,
Jaipur, yeah.
Jaipur.
Yep.
And what about Nurjahan? Didn't you go there at Nurjahan's tomb?
No, we actually
close
missed that.
by.
Yes, not too far from there, but I think some construction was going on. So while we were passing by the car, Makul showed me that's Nurjahan's tomb, but it's more like flattish, right? It's a very, like, design-wise, it's not that exotic. It's not like didn't have the grandeur, but it's more like flattish. But we didn't get a chance to see that, just from a distance. Yeah.
Well, few days back, we, Zihu team, we
Okay.
went in the basement where the graves are.
Yeah,
Actually, the
yeah,
graves are
yeah.
in the basement
Yeah.
of Nurjahan and Ladli Begum.
Okay.
The
Ladli Begum is a sister, right?
daughter.
Daughter, yes.
Daughter. We have been to there.
Okay.
Luckily, but once in a blue moon you get a chance to go down because it is locked and you have to either convince someone to
Get like
open
a
it for
special
you.
permission or something
Special
like that.
permission is, yeah. We went there. So we'll show Noor Jahan's grave in the basement to viewers.
Okay.
I wish you could have gone there.
I wish, but today I think after that we came to, actually I told Makbul Bhai to we did that before coming to the walled city or from the walled city? No, we did Jahangir's tomb first and then we came to walled city. But then, excuse me.
Yeah, please.
And after that, actually, the very first day when I'm coming from Wagah border, I saw a beautiful structure with, excuse me, like the Kashkari design, very intricate tile work. So I asked Makbul, what is that structure? So he did mention to me, it is the tomb that belonged to the wet nurse of Shah Jahan.
Oh, Dayanga.
Dayanga, correct.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Like the gate was beautiful in that area.
It's very beautiful.
So that was the goal today. And excuse me, the very first day when I saw you for the first time in the walled city, the mosque,
Wazir Khan Mosque.
Wazir Khan Mosque. Okay, so I told Makbul I would like to go there one more time because remember that day how it was raining?
Yeah, it was raining.
So I spent a good amount of time there. So then I think we lost the time and then we had some other things to catch up. So I wasn't able to see Nurja. He told me though. Okay. So then from a distance I was seeing it's a flat structure. I mean, it's the same type of architectural design. So we just let go.
It is quadrangular. It is good. If you go inside, it's very good.
It's nice, right? Yeah. Maybe tomorrow then, before leaving.
But
for
you are living so early.
At 9 in the morning, yeah.
So, well, all the best with all the journey you have to make, and please give some message to the people who want to come Pakistan or who are afraid of coming to Pakistan. They should come.
They should come.
You have
They
been.
should come. It's
You have.
loads of history. It's loads of culture.
And please
Great
tell.
food, like cuisine, you name it. Friendly people. What else do you need? It's
And what about the security thing?
security thing. I think it's all in your mind. Of course, like anywhere you go in the world. As I just like my daughter will say sometimes that even in the United States, okay, you're leaving the house, going somewhere. What are the odds that somebody will just do something to you? It can happen anywhere in the world. I
But
guess.
overall, when you come Lahore, have you noticed that nobody was stunned to see you?
No,
Nobody
no.
was startled.
Very
Nobody-
casual, yes. Nobody
Yeah.
was like looking at me. Okay, I'm just walking. I'm here and there. Just so even in the hotel, like in the morning, like for the past 3 mornings, I just casually coming down. Everyone is very friendly, greeting me. I didn't feel anything or in any way that like I'm like in a different place. So it's
But you have been here for very
very short time. Very short
I
time.
think
Yes.
you should have extended your
I
stay
wish
for
I had
Lahore.
more time, and since I'm not focusing in the gorgeous landscape part of the country, which is the northern part, right? And my husband did that. That is his interest area. But now my next leg will be Taxila, and from there, Manjadaro, and fly out of Karachi. That's the plan. As of now.
Remember, all the best. And because Taxila has a lot to offer. Dharmarajika, and Murado,
Murado, Julian Monastery,
yes,
and
monastery.
Sirkap. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Dafbai as well, because there are some statues, a Gurdwara, a lot of other things.
That way you have to climb up high, like 400
Yeah.
steps or something like that.
And you have to go to Bamala as well.
That's what I was telling you. Like that's like the newest discovered sleeping Buddha, right? Like the third largest in the world. That's what I heard.
I think you should go to Bamala as well.
Yesterday I like Harappa too, and I was telling all my friends that like the very idea of seeing Manjudar and Harappa with my own eyes is taking me back to
Your
a
school
sixth
days.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand.
Sixth and
because-
seventh grade history book. You turn the pages of the book. The first thing you see Indus Valley civilization. So it's
Exactly.
like
So that's why you developed a fascination for Indus Valley.
fascination, like the passion, and that's why I talk to everybody and I suggest everybody should travel. Traveling is so important. It gives you a different exposure. It broadens your mind, broadens your horizon, and makes you look into things differently in life. Traveling is very important. And you should see different countries, meet different people, see different cultures, see different customs. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all the same human being.
Exactly.
We are all the same human being.
Yeah.
We are no different than anybody else, And so I love Pakistan, and I wish I had more time. Very honestly, I wish I had more time
But,
to see
we-
some other places as well. Maybe next time.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure,
next time.
sure.
Maybe
You're
next
most
time.
welcome. You should come again and again and explore Lahore more.
Explore Lahore more.
Other
yes.
than Takshashula and
Yeah.
Mohenjo-daro and all our
Yes.
heritage sites,
Yeah.
we have a lot of things to offer,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
like Karga Buddha, Buddha
Okay.
Rocks,
Okay.
Darel, Tangir, and Peshawar.
No, like Peshawar is, I mean, it's so well known.
Now you're-
Like historically.
Exactly.
Yeah, historically. And so many, even, like Bengali authors, like during my time, nobody's there anymore because Bengalis always love to travel. Bengalis always love to travel. So there's so many traveler kind of books that we read growing up. And in my generation, we really never had any television or like the visual part of entertaining ourselves didn't exist. So we used to turn the pages of the book, and that
And
used to
imagine.
take us
Yeah. And
the land of
widen the
imagination.
horizon of imagination.
Like Persia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, then on the east, Myanmar, Nepal, So it is just in our mind as you turn the pages of history, pages of book, and let your imagination just fly by.
And then when you go there, in
And-
maturer age,
Yes.
you are definitely more fascinated.
Exactly. Because it already stayed in your mind growing up and reading those books. Definitely.
What do the daughters, what are your daughters doing?
My older daughter, she lives in Ivory Coast, West Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, So she works with the United States State Department. So she works at the US Embassy. Okay. But she frequently visits us actually. And she got married 2 years ago. And younger daughter, she lives, so we live in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay. So if you're familiar with the map of United States, I mean
For me, Pennsylvania is where Professor Satya lives.
okay. Got it. But that's a state though. So USA has 50 states. Okay. USA has 50 states. How many provinces are there in Pakistan?
Loosely speaking, 5.
Loosely speaking is 5, maybe 7, 8 region-wise, right? So US is a very big country, like physically.
I have been to USA.
In USA. So which part of USA did you go?
I went to Washington DC, and then to San Francisco, and then
West
to Austin, and then to New York, and then came back to Lahore.
Okay. So you sort of went from here to
East,
there,
west,
come
south.
and down south, and then okay. So if you visualize the map of USA, we are in the northeast quadrant. Okay. So everybody knows New York, and so we live in the state of Pennsylvania, which borders with the state of New York. It's about roughly, I would say, from the city of New York, our house should be under 3 hours. Okay. From Washington DC, which is down south from our house, roughly 4.5 hours. So it's a very central location. It's called Scranton. That's the name of the city. We actually live in a suburb, but it's easier for me when I'm talking to somebody else not familiar with US, Scranton, and it's the home of Joe Biden, like our president right now. So he was born in Scranton. Okay. So, and then there's a very famous show on television called The Office. Maybe if you can Google and find, that was shot in Scranton. So that ran for many years. So people will sometimes say, "You're from Scranton? Isn't that the place for the show Office?" So it's like that. Okay. So anyway, but then so she lives in, actually my younger daughter, she lives in the state called Delaware. It's a very small state. Roughly that is also about 3 hours driving time from our home. And she works with Siemens.
That's good.
So
that's good. So all
and
the
you know
best.
my husband very well. So.
Yeah, Professor, there is a gem of a person. Please pay my regards to him.
Absolutely. And
all the best with all your journey in Pakistan.
Thank you
out
so
of
much.
Pakistan.
Thank you so much.
I hope you would love Takshashila.
Yeah.
And
in Bengali we call it Takshila. Takshila. But like historically, when I think about, so it's the time of the Maurya dynasty, you know, Chandragupta Maurya, and then his son Bimbisar, and then his son Ashoka, like the great king Ashoka. That was, and even in our history books, we always learned about Taxila and then Nalanda, which is much after Taxila, 600, 700 AD, around that time, roughly. So I'm looking forward to my trip tomorrow. So hopefully I'm excited.
That's good.
And
all the best.
It's just so many things here to go see.
For giving us time.
No. It's my pleasure. Like, I wish I had more time for sightseeing in Lahore.
During the interview last night, Mrs. Basundhara Chattopadhyay felt she should have visited Noor Jahan's tomb. She got up early in the morning and went to Noor Jahan's tomb next morning. From Noor Jahan's tomb, she sent us this video asking to upload together with the interview, only to tell the viewers that she had been so curious that she didn't want to miss any Mughal era building in Lahore. She didn't miss Noor Jahan's tomb. She had been there before leaving for Taxila.